Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for Cyber Monday coverage is Yael, Zlatin, director of e-commerce at Adtaxi, a digital marketing agency, to discuss the results of Adtaxi's holiday election advertising trends survey. Yael, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate
You got
it.
And what does the data say in terms of growth this holiday season? Are consumers spending more, less, or the same as last year?
So we are foreseeing a moderate growth. We've seen other organizations like eMarketer saying the same thing. When we say moderate growth, we mean in the retail realm in general. We will be seeing huge spike in Ecom sales, just like we have seen them go up since April, alongside with decline in brick and mortar. Within the Ecom realm, we are seeing shifts in spending behaviors. We're seeing really high spend behavior alongside with higher conversion rates that we've ever seen before. So to kind of sum up the reply to your questions, we're going to see a moderate growth. We're not going to see a huge spike. Within that moderate growth, Ecom's going to thrive.
Right. And speaking of e-commerce, do you think consumers are going to continue to shop online even on the other side of COVID-19?
We really do think so. We're foreseeing that right now what we're seeing will become the new norm. In the survey we did, over 65% of the respondents said that they are strongly agree that they'll be shopping online post-pandemic. We also see that there's a huge shift in the older audience towards the e-com space, and we don't really think that they will be going back to their previous behavior.
How are small businesses faring throughout this? It sounds like this weekend, small businesses actually did quite well.
Well, we're still learning the data, but it is a very exciting time for sure. So for small business, we actually, we think there is a whole spectrum of them, right? In 2020, we've seen small business thrive. We've seen small businesses that were almost ready for the pandemic. They had a really great website, first-party data. They had really great conversion rates. And so when it happened, they just did really well. And then we also seen businesses that just completely shifted their strategy. So for example, in a hybrid model, in a model in which you will have a brick and mortar store and then an e-com store, we've seen these businesses shift their strategy towards the e-com and really have a really great year. In April through the holiday season, we see them thrive despite their brick and mortar closures or whatever have happened in their brick and mortar space. And then we also have seen businesses that went out of business. So in essence, when we did our survey, we've asked respondents, why would they or would they not buy local? And most of them say that the number one was cost and then inconvenience and selection. So if you are a small business, you got to tackle these objections with your paid media. Once you do that, there's no reason why they should not be buying with you.
And when it comes to holiday marketing, what did the consumer respond the most to?
So it's a spectrum. We've seen the consumer respond most to social and search ads in our survey, followed by newsletter, marketplaces, daily deals, and then also some pre-rolled video. But what it really tells us is that in order to thrive this holiday season and also in 2021, you got to have an omni-channel strategy. You got to make sure that you're doing all of it and you're doing it really well. And then most importantly, that all these channels talk to each other. So you will be noticeable in the entire, shopping journey that your shoppers take.
Yeah, all comes down to experience, doesn't it? Do consumers find it helpful when companies address COVID-19 in their advertising?
100%. 65% of our respondents said that it is important for businesses to convey what measures they're doing during COVID-19. And we also have seen it locally within our book of business of our e-com advertisers that conversion rates really go up when it comes to purchases when our ads have some sort of a messaging that talks about what this business doing during COVID-19. And again, going back to you got to tackle the objections and the obstacles people might have before making the decision whether they're going to buy with you or not. And so messaging around COVID-19 is really great. And it's very important in 2020, I think.
I would agree. Let's wrap up with politics, Yael. Did Americans feel overwhelmed with how much election coverage was out there? And did ads influence their vote?
It's a really great question. So I'm not going to be able to tell you whether ads influence their votes, but I can tell you this. Our CPM on our end reached historic high. So we had to shift our strategy to make sure that our advertisers are growing this holiday season, and they're also capturing new audiences. Now, very important to note that when we did our survey prior to the election, 70% of our respondents said that whether their candidate's going to win or not, it's not going to matter because their budgets are already set. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that, shoppers have their budget. They're not going to move it right or left, 70% of them. And so the question is not whether they're going to spend more. The question is, where are they going to spend that, set number of their holiday spending?
Did they indicate any areas that they would allocate their budgets to, electronics, apparel? Did they give any insight into that?
We don't have insight into that, but reading into additional data that comes out from other organizations, we are seeing a few niches in the Ecoms space really that took off this holiday season. So electronics is one of them. Beauty is one of them as well. Apparel, we are seeing a higher numbers in apparel when it comes to leisure wear. Right. So that's pretty much how the combination of different niche and e-com is working out at the moment.
Yep, you have to be comfortable and look good on all these Zoom calls and interviews that we're doing these days. Yael, it was great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you.
You got it. And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.